The cowboy raised his rifle, not at the woman trembling in front of him, but at the 3 men closing in behind her. "Touch them," he said quietly, his voice cold as iron, "and you'll never leave this ranch alive." The men froze. Dust hung in the air, thick and unmoving. Somewhere, a gate creaked in the wind. The woman collapsed to her knees. Her children scattered instinctively, like frightened birds, scrambling for cover behind fence posts and wagon wheels. She didn't know whether she'd just been saved, or whether she'd stumbled into something even worse. 12 hours earlier, she hadn't even known this man existed. Now, he was the only thing standing between her family and hell. Martha's hand still shook when she thought about the knife. She hadn't meant to stab the man, only to make him let go of her daughter's arm. Not deep. Just enough to shock him. Enough to buy 10 seconds. Enough to run. Her husband, James, had been dead for 3 weeks. Crushed in a mine collapse outside Silverton. The company called it an accident. Said he violated safety protocol. Paid her nothing. It was a lie. But lies didn't pay rent. On the 16th day, the landlord came. Vernon Hastings. He smiled too wide. Stood too close. Let his eyes linger too long on her face, her hands, her children. "You've got 2 choices," he said pleasantly. "Pay what you owe, or work it off." She felt her skin crawl when he explained what he meant. She told him to leave. He returned 4 days later with 2 armed men and a contract. "Sign this," he said, sliding the paper across the table, "and your debt transfers to labor. You and the children work my land for 2 years. After that, you're free." She was desperate. Exhausted. Alone. So she signed. The next morning, they came for the children. That was when she ran. 5 children. Thomas, 13, serious beyond his years, trying desperately to be the man of the family. Clara, 11, quiet and observant, always sketching shapes and faces into the dirt. The twins, Lucy and Emma, 8 years old, still young enough to believe this was an adventure. And Samuel, 4, who cried himself to sleep every night calling for his papa. They walked for 2 days through canyon country. Food ran out after the first day. Water by the second. Martha's feet bled through her boots. Samuel rode on her back until she couldn't carry him anymore. Then Thomas took him without a word. On the 3rd morning, Lucy collapsed. Martha dropped beside her, heartbreaking. "Get up, baby. Please." "I can't, Mama." Thomas looked at her with eyes far too old for 13. "We're not going to make it, are we?" Martha had no answer. That was when Clara pointed. Smoke. A ranch. 2 miles west. Their last chance. Caleb Stone was mending a fence when he saw them. At first, he thought it was a mirage. Heat did that out here. But then he saw the smallest child fall, and the woman try to lift him and fail. He dropped his tools and moved. By the time he reached them, the mother was on her knees, children collapsed around her like fallen leaves. "Please," she whispered. "Just, water." Caleb didn't ask questions. "Not yet," he said gently. He carried the youngest himself. Walked them to the house. Gave them water slowly, too much too fast could kill them. He set out bread, dried meat, canned peaches. The children ate like wolves. Martha couldn't eat. She just watched, tears streaming down her face. When they finished, Caleb finally spoke. "You running from the law?" "No," she said. "From a man." "Men." She hesitated. "Maybe." Caleb looked at the children, barefoot, bruised, exhausted. "They coming after you?" "I don't know." "Are these all your children?" "Yes." He stood, jaw tight. Decision made. You stay. She blinked. Where? Here. Work the ranch if you want. Or don't. Either way, you're safe. Why? She whispered. Caleb's eyes went distant. Because nobody helped me when I needed it. And I've regretted it every day since. He showed them the bunkhouse. Dusty, but solid. Beds with real mattresses. Blankets. A stove. The children stared like it was a palace. That night, Martha didn't sleep. She waited for the price. The demand. But Caleb never came. Morning brought eggs, bacon, and coffee. Thomas watched Caleb carefully. Why are you helping us? Because you need it. Nobody does something for nothing. Caleb met his gaze. I'm not nobody. That afternoon, he taught them the ranch. Samuel stuck to him like a shadow. Clara sketched him when she thought he wasn't looking. For the first time in weeks, Martha felt hope. Then the riders came. 3 men. Armed. Dust covered. Caleb saw them from the barn and told the children to get inside. Told Martha to lock the door. He met them at the gate, rifle in hand. The leader was Garrett, scarred, mean, loyal to Vernon Hastings. We're looking for a woman and 5 kids. Nope. Funny. We tracked them right to your fence. Then you tracked wrong. She's got legal debts. She's got nothing. Then we'll take the kids. Caleb raised the rifle. You'll take nothing. Garrett laughed. Reached for his gun. Caleb fired into the dirt inches from his boot. Next one's higher. They left. But Caleb knew they'd be back. Weeks passed. The children transformed. Thomas learned to ride and shoot. Clara painted murals across the bunkhouse walls. The twins laughed again. Samuel started calling Caleb sir. One evening, Martha asked, "Why are you alone out here?" "I had a family once," Caleb said. "Lost them while I was gone." She took his hand. "You brought me back," he said. "But peace never lasts." At dawn, a boy rode hard from town. "They're coming. Sheriff and Hastings. They've got papers." Caleb told Martha to run. She shook her head. "I'm done running." They came with 6 men. Contracts were produced. The debt was real. How much to clear it? Caleb asked. $300. He had 270. Then take the ranch. Martha begged him not to. He signed anyway. They rode off with everything. The sheriff lingered. "You know that contract was forged." "What?" "Find proof." That night, Caleb and Thomas broke into Hastings' office. They found a ledger, dozens of families, fake contracts, forged signatures. Garrett caught them. But the sheriff shot first. "Get that ledger to the judge." By morning, Hastings was arrested. The ranch returned. When Caleb came home, the children ran to him. Martha stopped him. "You gave up everything." "I got it back." "That's not what I mean." She kissed him. "We're not leaving. This is home." Years passed. The ranch grew. And one evening, Samuel asked, "Do you miss being alone?" Caleb smiled. "Not for a second. Because family isn't something you're born into. It's something you choose." And he chose them. Every day.